the hell do you say this dude's name? Zaccard Sarniv. Anyways, I know by this dude's image, y'all know exactly who this guy is. If you don't, let me inform you. He planted a pressure cooker bomb at the finish line of the 2013 Boston Marathon, killing 3 people, injuring over 250. He was sentenced to death. He was to be transferred to Terre Haute, Indiana, when his execution date was set, but the death sentence was vacated in 2020 due to inadequate screening for potential bias among jury pool. The death sentence was reimposed by the Supreme Court in March 4th, 2022. So, he originally was sentenced to death June 24th, 2015, but that was overturned by the Federal Appeals Court on July 30th, 2020, but reimposed March 4th, 2022. So really, it's only a matter of time before they poke his ass with the needle. I mean, I'm just saying. Dude's very, 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 very scummy. Extremely. Next up, we got Wadi alHage. He was convicted in connection with the 1998 United States Embassy bombings in Kenya and Tanzania, Africa, which were conceived by Al-Qaeda leader bin Laden. The bombings killed 224 people and injured more than 4,000. Good God. This motherfucker was destruction. He's serving a life sentence. Next up, Terry Nichols. He is the co-conspirator in the 1995 Oklahoma City bombings of the federal building out there, which killed 168 people. Timothy McVeigh, who planned and carried out the bombing, was executed in 2001. But this dude apparently was helping him. You know how much time he got? Probably the most time on this list. He's serving 161 consecutive life sentences. You know what that means, people? That means when he dies, and he's never coming back. It's over for him. It's over for you, Terry. Next up is Jose Padilla. An Al-Qaeda. Jose Padilla. He's an Al-Qaeda operative and one of the first U.S. citizens to be designated as an enemy combatant after September 11th attacks. Convicted in 2007 of terrorism conspiracy for traveling overseas to attend Al-Qaeda training camp and providing material to support terrorists. He's serving a 21-year sentence. He actually gets out in a few years. Like, for real, a few years. Actually, he gets out 2 days before my birthday in 2026. Well, ain't that some shit? Next is Eric Rudolph. He's a member of a Christian extremist group, Army of God. He pleaded guilty in 2005 to carrying out 4 bombings between 1996 and 1998, including the Centennial Olympic Park bombing in Atlanta. He killed 3 people during the bombing spree, and he is serving 4 life sentences. Man, what is up with people that want to bomb and just cause mass destruction? Like one, Faisal Shahzad. He's a Taliban operative, pled guilty to attempting to use a weapon of mass destruction and other charges in connection with the 2010s Times Square car bombing attempt. Received explosive training in 2009 from the terrorist organization in the Taliban in Pakistan. Damn, they have full-on training camps for this crazy type of shit? Good grief. Next up, this is a trippy one right here. Nasr Jason Abdu. He is a U.S. Army private who refused to deploy to Afghanistan. He went AWOL. But he was convicted in 2012 of attempted use of a weapon of mass destruction for plotting to detonate a bomb in 2011 at a restaurant near Fort Hood in Texas when it was filled with soldiers. So basically, he was trying to kill our military. This dude is extremely scummy, and he's just lame as hell. They smoked his ass. He's serving 2 life sentences plus 60 years. Next up, Mr. Bearded Dragon, Muhammad al-Farouk. This is a Houston man who was convicted of terrorism-related charges in 2017 After he attended al-Qaeda training camp in Afghanistan, he was charged with material support of terrorism for planning a 2009 attack on forward operating base Chapman and Coast. He had reportedly been radicalized by Zareen, one of the men charged with the '09 New York City subway bombing plots. Look at this. Grown men, let another grown man control their mind. What kind of weak shit is that? But he's serving a 45-year sentence and is scheduled for release August 5th, 2053. Okay, next, Tariq Mehana. He's an American pharmacist convicted of conspiracy to provide material support to al-Qaeda, provided material support to terrorists, and conspiracy to do so. Conspiracy to commit murder in a foreign country, conspiracy to make false statements to the FBI, and 2 counts of making false statements since 17 years of federal prison in April 2012. He's getting out in 2024. He'll be all right. He'll be out in a couple years. Ahmed Khan Brahimi. He's an American-Afghan man from Elizabeth, New Jersey, who was convicted in the U.S. District Court and New Jersey State Court for use of weapons of mass destruction, bombing a place of public use, attempted murder on law enforcement, officers, and various other charges. On September 17th, 2016, he planted a bomb. He planted and detonated explosives at a park, Seaside Park, New Jersey, and Manhattan that injured 35 people. Another explosive was discovered in a backpack in New Jersey. 2 days later, after Linden police attempted to apprehend him, he engaged in a shootout with members of the police and shot an officer in the abdomen. Additional, as a pretrial detainee in New York, he was accused of distributing terrorist propaganda and bomb-making instructions to inmates alongside fellow would-be terrorists. And yeah, Rahimi was sentenced to life in prison in 2018. Yeah, safe to say in the year 2100, his ass will probably still be in there. Smoked his ass. Yeah, so anyways, next we got Nasr Gawadiya. He's a former engineer of the U.S. Department of Defense and one of the principal designers of the B-2 stealth bomber. He was convicted in 2011 of using classified information to assist the People's Republic of China in producing cruise missiles with stealth technology. Now, you see, this doesn't even make any sense. Why would you want to give someone else the sauce when they could potentially harm us? Like, that's just dumb, bro. He's serving a 32-year sentence. He'll be out in like 10 years. What a weirdo. Next up, Robert Hansen. You can't trust a guy that smiles like this. Just look at his smile. It's like one of those forced smiles, you know? But anyways, he was a former senior FBI agent assigned to counterintelligence. He pled guilty in 2002 to espionage for passing classified information to the Soviet Union and later to Russia over a 20-year period. This was regarded at the time as the worst intelligence disaster in U.S. history. Several undercover U.S. agents were executed based on the leaked information. He is serving 15 consecutive life sentences. You scummy individual. Next, Walter White. No, I'm just kidding. Walter Myers. He's a former intelligence analyst for the United States Department. He pled guilty in 2009 to conspiracy to commit espionage for providing classified U.S. national defense information to Cuba over a period of 30 years. His wife was sentenced to 6 years. So basically, he has been smiling in our face, but laying in bed with the enemy for 30 years to tell him everything. They smoked his ass too. Last person for this espionage section. He was the Harold Nicholson. He was the highest-ranking CIA officer to be convicted of espionage. He pled guilty in 1997 to passing classified information to Russia from 1994 to 96. Pleaded guilty in 2010 to attempted to collect payments from Russian agents for his past espionage activities. He's serving a 23-year sentence plus 8 years. And get this, people. He will be out in less than 2 years. A year and a half. November 26, 2020. Wait, 3. Yeah, 2023. That's when he gets out. Okay. Now, to the part that I couldn't wait to get to, that I was, let's talk about it. Organized crime, to all the bosses, to all the leaders of the mafias, the cartels, the gang leaders, the trappers, the real live guys that demand respect. You know what I mean? So let's get to them. James Marcello.